If you are over 60, try to imagine the following situation. You settle down to sleep after a healthy dinner of a light salad and some steamed vegetables. You feel pride in your choice. However, something goes wrong the next morning. Speech becomes indistinct, the hand seems unresponsive, or you wake up feeling dizzy. Most people would think the reason is fried food or sugar, but in reality, it could be entirely different. Sometimes the culprit turns out to be a vegetable you always considered your ally. Yes, the one that has been considered beneficial for the heart and improving brain function for many years. But after 60, he can silently increase the risk of a stroke overnight. I have observed this many times and can no longer count them. Foods that were beneficial at 40 can become dangerous at 70, especially if you take medications or eat them at the wrong time. But the good news is that there is no need to be afraid of food. It is important to understand how your body now reacts to it differently. In today's program, The Power of Spirit, we will talk about 9 common vegetables that can subtly increase the risk of stroke after 60 and, more importantly, how to consume them safely. Be sure to watch until the end, as the last vegetable is the most treacherous. It is eaten by almost all retirees every week. Vegetable number 9 is spinach. For many years, spinach has been considered one of the healthiest foods on the planet. It is rich in iron, magnesium, and antioxidants. However, after 60, this superfood can subtly transition from the category of friends to enemies if consumed incorrectly. The issue lies with oxalates, natural compounds that bind with calcium. In young people, the kidneys easily filter them. But with age, their functions slow down. Blood vessels become less elastic, and many start taking supplements with calcium and vitamin D. All this together creates ideal conditions for the formation of microcrystals of calcium oxalate in the blood. Over time, they accumulate and narrow the small arteries that nourish the brain, like sand clogging thin tubes. Blood flow weakens, oxygen levels drop, and a small clot can cause a silent stroke during sleep. This does not mean that spinach is harmful. Now the body absorbs it differently. To stay safe, try to eat spinach in the morning or daytime when metabolism is more active. Do not often combine it with calcium or vitamin D, and be sure to consult a doctor if you have kidney or heart issues. Spinach remains rich in nutrients, but after 60, it requires a respectful approach to its rules. Follow them, and it will protect you. Ignore them, and it may silently harm your brain during sleep. Vegetable number 8 is broccoli. For many years, broccoli was considered one of the best foods for the heart, rich in fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins that strengthen the immune system and prolong life. However, after 60, broccoli can become risky not because of its composition, but due to interactions with medications. The main issue lies with vitamin K, which is responsible for the blood's ability to clot. In young age, this can be beneficial, but for elderly people taking blood-thinning medications like warfarin, clopidogrel, or even aspirin, an excess of vitamin K can disrupt the necessary balance. Blood can become either too thick or excessively thin. This delicate balance is the very edge that separates normal circulation from a stroke. The real threat lies in instability. If you eat broccoli every day for a week and then stop, the level of medication in your blood can change sharply. You won't feel it until your blood pressure rises or you have clotting issues. To minimize risk, try to maintain a stable consumption of broccoli. There's no need to completely abandon this vegetable. Just avoid drastic changes. And be sure to inform your doctor that you regularly eat broccoli so he can adjust your medication dosage if necessary. Broccoli is still good for the heart and brain, but after 60, it requires special attention and moderation. A bit of stability, and your circulation will be fine, while the future remains certain. Vegetable number 7 is romaine lettuce. Many elderly people believe that a light salad for dinner is the perfect choice. It is low in calories, easy to digest, and doesn't overload the heart. However, few know that eating romaine lettuce late at night can increase the risk of a stroke during sleep. The thing is, romaine acts as a natural diuretic. It is hardly felt by the youth, but after 60, the kidneys start to work slower. The vessels lose their elasticity, and the feeling of thirst weakens. You may not notice dehydration, but the blood becomes thicker during sleep. Thick blood moves more slowly through aging vessels, and small clots form more easily, especially if you take pressure-lowering medications or diuretics. The solution is simple. Don't give up salads, just eat them during the day. Lunch is the perfect time when the body is active and well hydrated. If you really crave greens in the evening, drink a glass of water with the salad to support blood flow. Romaine lettuce is still good for the heart and digestion, but after 60, it's important to choose the right time to eat it. He is your ally, but in the evening hours, he can silently harm your brain and blood vessels. Vegetable number 6, raw carrots. This product has always been considered one of the healthiest snacks, crunchy, low-calorie, rich in beta-carotene, which is good for vision. However, after 60, especially in people with a slow metabolism or diabetes, raw carrots, if eaten at the wrong time, can subtly harm your circulation and brain. Why does this happen? Raw carrot sticks are quickly digested, releasing natural sugars directly into the bloodstream. A young body handles this surge easily, but in elderly people, especially those with metabolic disorders, sugar levels can spike sharply and then plummet rapidly during sleep. This nightly decline causes the body to produce stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which constrict blood vessels and raise blood pressure at a time when the body should be resting. Adding to this light dehydration, the blood becomes thicker. This creates ideal conditions for the formation of small clots that can disrupt blood circulation in the brain. The solution is quite simple. One should not eat raw carrots late in the evening, especially alone. It is best to eat it in the morning or at lunch, combining it with proteins or healthy fats, such as yogurt, nuts, or a spoonful of hummus. This allows sugar to be absorbed more slowly, keeping energy levels stable. Carrots are still a treasure trove of vitamins and antioxidants. But remember, after 60, even healthy foods require balancing and timing. Daytime carrots can be healing, while nighttime ones can quietly harm. If you like these recommendations, leave a positive review under this material. We share practical knowledge on how to maintain strength, clarity of mind, and independence after 60. Write in the comments how old you are, where you are watching us from, and how you have been feeling lately. I read every message and am glad for your stories. Vegetable number 5 is garlic. For centuries, garlic has been considered one of the most powerful natural remedies. It helps lower blood pressure, strengthen the heart, and support the immune system. However, after 60, especially if you are taking blood-thinning medications, garlic can become not only beneficial, but also dangerous. Why does this happen? Garlic itself is a natural anticoagulant. It contains compounds of sulfur and allicin that prevent blood clotting and improve its flow, which is wonderful if you are not taking medications like warfarin, clopidogrel, or even aspirin. But in combination with these medications, the blood can become too thin, and the fragile blood vessels in the brain are at risk of bleeding. As a result, dizziness, bruising, and nosebleeds may occur, and in severe cases, hemorrhagic stroke. But there is a way out. Do not completely give up garlic, just treat it as a medicine. Avoid concentrated garlic supplements without consulting a doctor. Use garlic in cooking in small amounts, especially when cooked. Heat treatment reduces its anticoagulant properties and makes it gentler on the stomach. Pay attention to signs indicating overly thin blood, unexplained bruises, frequent headaches, weakness, and discuss this with a doctor immediately. Garlic remains a gift of nature, but after 60, it should be used with caution. Properly prepared, garlic supports heart health, while careless consumption can negatively affect the brain. Vegetable number 4 is onion. Onions are rich in antioxidants and compounds that protect the heart. They help lower cholesterol levels, reduce inflammation, and improve circulation. However, after 60, especially if you take blood pressure or blood-thinning medications, excessive consumption of onions can lead to undesirable consequences. The main reason lies in a substance called quercetin. It naturally dilates blood vessels and lowers blood pressure. In moderate amounts, it is beneficial, but combined with medications that serve the same function, blood pressure can drop too low. This can lead to worsened oxygen supply to the brain, feelings of weakness, dizziness, and confusion. At night, when the body loses moisture and circulation slows down, this combination of factors can create conditions for a mild stroke or fainting. To reduce the risk, it is recommended to use onion as a seasoning rather than as a main ingredient. It is best to cook it by frying or stewing, as heat breaks down some quercetin. Heavy dishes with a lot of raw onions should be avoided at dinner when circulation naturally slows down. Remember to drink water throughout the day to maintain the elasticity of blood vessels. If you take medications for the heart or blood pressure, be sure to discuss your onion consumption with your doctor. Even small changes can significantly affect your health. Onion remains an important element of healthy eating, but after 60, it should be consumed with caution. A little onion adds flavor and protection, but an excess can burden the brain and vessels. The next vegetable is corn, which for many elderly people is associated with childhood, warmth, and comfort. Corn cobs at the summer house, plates of corn porridge, and soups seem harmless and even beneficial. However, in reality, corn behaves more like starch than a vegetable. As one ages, this difference becomes especially important. When you eat corn, the body quickly converts its natural sugars into glucose, leading to a sharp spike in blood sugar levels, similar to eating white bread. In elderly people, whose insulin production is slowed and blood vessels are less elastic, such fluctuations in sugar can silently increase the risk of stroke and overload the heart. First, the sugar level rises, then it sharply falls. In response to this, the body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which constrict blood vessels and thicken the blood, creating ideal conditions for microthrombi, especially at night when you sleep and drink little water. The solution is not to completely give up corn, but to consume it wisely. Avoid corn at dinner when the body is less active and hydration levels are lower. It is better to eat it during the day, pairing it with proteins or healthy fats like eggs, avocado, or beans. This will slow down sugar absorption and help maintain stable energy levels. And keep in mind that fresh corn on the cob is much healthier than processed flakes or cornmeal, which are digested too quickly and can cause sharp spikes in sugar. Corn is delicious and familiar, but after 60, the body perceives it differently. With the right balance, one can continue to enjoy it, but not every day and not late in the evening. The second vegetable is asparagus. This product is associated with elegance, lightness, and purity. She often incorporates it into diets and healthy eating menus. However, after 60, this noble vegetable can cause unexpected circulation problems if consumed at the wrong time. The reason is quite simple. Asparagus has a diuretic effect, stimulating the body to get rid of excess fluid. In young age, this can be beneficial, but in older people, such stimulation can lead to nighttime dehydration, thickening of the blood, and slowed circulation. If you take medications for lowering blood pressure or diuretics, their effect is enhanced, and thick blood begins to circulate more slowly through the vessels, which can lead to the formation of microthrombi during sleep. The solution is simple. Avoid eating asparagus late in the evening. It's better to eat it for lunch or an early dinner when you are active and consuming enough fluids. Additionally, it's worth including foods that help maintain water balance, such as cucumbers or melons. If you are taking medications for your kidneys or blood pressure, consult your doctor about whether asparagus enhances their effects. Asparagus remains a valuable source of vitamins, antioxidants, and substances that improve skin and heart condition. However, like many other products, it requires careful attention and the right timing, especially after 60. Consume it during the day and monitor your hydration to reap all the benefits without hidden risks during nighttime rest. Tomatoes rank first among vegetables. They have long been a symbol of healthy eating, light, refreshing, and full of antioxidants. However, after 60, this familiar product can cause circulation problems that sometimes resemble stroke symptoms. Tomatoes belong to the nightshade family. They contain histamine, tyramine, and solanine, substances that can cause inflammatory reactions and unexpectedly dilate or constrict blood vessels. For an aging body, such fluctuations can be a real challenge. Dizziness, numbness, and headaches. All of these may resemble the initial signs of a stroke. Furthermore, the high acidity of tomatoes negatively affects the electrolyte balance, leaching calcium and magnesium that are necessary for the normal functioning of the nervous and muscular systems. Overeating tomatoes, especially at night, can lead to sharp fluctuations in blood pressure and circulation issues. However, this is not a reason to completely give them up. Just prepare tomatoes, stew, or bake them. Heat reduces the level of solanine and makes the antioxidant lycopene more accessible for absorption. Avoid heavy tomato dishes before bedtime. It is better to eat them in the first half of the day and combine them with magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds or spinach. Tomatoes remain a source of strength for the heart and youth. But after 60, it is important to remember 3 principles: moderation, timing, and self-care. Using them wisely, they will become your allies, but in excess, they may become quiet provocateurs. After all you've learned about the 9 common vegetables and their hidden risks, it's easy to feel surprise, and sometimes even anxiety. For a long time, we've been told that vegetables are always healthy, and overall, that's true. But after 60, your body changes. The kidneys begin to function more slowly, the vessels become more fragile and vulnerable. The level of fluid in the body decreases. Even the healthiest foods start to behave differently. Now it is important not only what you eat, but also when, in what quantity, and with what you combine it. A salad at lunch can strengthen your health, but the same salad at night can thicken the blood or lower the pressure. too much. Garlic added to dishes protects the heart, but garlic supplements combined with medications can excessively thin the blood. The key words for longevity are time, balance, and mindfulness. These are not commandments or fears, but knowledge that will help you take better care of your health. You are not devoid of strength. On the contrary, the better you understand your body, the greater control you have over your health. Simple and thoughtful habits, such as proper hydration, adjusting meal times, and being mindful of medication interactions, allow you to enjoy your favorite dishes without worry. Mindfulness is not a restriction, but freedom. This material is intended solely for educational purposes and cannot replace professional medical advice. Each body is unique, especially in old age, when prescription medications or management of chronic diseases may be required. Before making serious changes to your diet or stopping supplements, be sure to discuss it with your doctor. Listen to your body and trust specialists. This is the most reliable path to a long and healthy future. Today we examined 9 common vegetables that can subtly increase the risk of stroke if consumed improperly, such as spinach, broccoli, tomatoes, and asparagus. However, remember that these foods are not enemies. When consumed at the right time and in moderation, considering your medications and hydration levels, they remain protectors of your heart and brain. Now I wonder, which of these vegetables surprised you the most? Will you change your habits regarding its consumption?